In this video, we're going to be taking a look at adding decimals. Now, the essential question that we are going to be unlocking is, how can place value help you add decimals? Now, the page in your Go Math book you'll need to turn to is 135. And let's unlock this problem on page 135. Now, it says Henry recorded the amount of rain that fell over 2 hours. In the first hour, Henry measured 2 3/500 centimeters of rain. In the second hour, he measured 1 8,200 centimeters of rain. Okay, now as we work through this problem, you just, first of all, the important thing to do is line up your decimal. You always need to line up your decimal whenever you're adding or subtracting decimals. Okay, so the first thing you will do is you want to add the hundredths place. So start to the very right, just like you would do a regular addition problem. So 5 and 2, that gives you 7. Okay, so 5 hundredths plus 2 hundredths, you can see here, gives you 7 hundredths. And let's write that down. Then the next thing you want to do is you want to add the tenths place. We have 3 tenths plus 8 tenths, and that is actually going to give you 11 tenths. Alright, now what you will need to do, you will need to regroup. So put your 1 here, and then put your 1 right in the ones place. Put your decimal point down, and then you need to add the 2 ones plus 1 plus the 1 that we regrouped. That gives you the total of 4 ones. And we'll write 4 down just right here. Okay, so it equals 4 17/100ths. Now, if we were to estimate this, that would be 2 plus 2, and that is going to give us 4, which would be the estimated answer. So 4 17/100ths. Now, if we want to draw a quick picture to check the answer, what we can see here is, first of all, we would have our 2 3/500ths, so 2 wholes, 3 tenths. I want you to do this with me in your Go Math book. And the 5 circles representing the hundredths. Alright, and the 1 8,200ths, going to have 1 square. This time 8 longs, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, representing the tenths place, and then 2 circles representing a hundredth. Okay, then from here we would add these together. Okay, you can see there are a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total hundredths. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now you can see that 10 of these are actually going to be taken over and made into a 1. Okay, we can regroup, leaving 1 left over. So we have 4 ones, 1 tenth, and 7 hundredths. So for 4 17/100ths. And this drawing is just a way just to double check your work and make sure if you have it correct. Now let's take a look at page 136, the evaluate decimals. And let's take a look at this. Let me get rid of some of the stuff here. Okay, it says, not evaluate decimals, sorry, equivalent decimals. It says when adding decimals, you can use equivalent decimals to help keep the numbers aligned in each place. Add zeros to the right of the last digit as needed so that the add-ins have the same number of decimal places. Okay, so if we're taking a look at this problem here, let me just clear all the annotations. There we go. Okay, so we have 20 4/10 plus 13 76/100ths. First of all, you want to estimate, round to the nearest whole number. Okay, we have 34 for the estimated answer. Now the next thing you want to do is you want to find the sum. Now, it is important to remember that you always line up the decimal every time. Okay, so we have 20 4/10, which leaves a space right here. Okay, and what we will do, we'll just add a 0. Okay, 13 7600ths. Remember, whenever you add a 0 to the right hand side of a decimal, okay, to the very least place value, it does not add any value whatsoever. Okay, now think 20 and 4/10 has now been turned into 20 and 40/100ths. So from here you want to add 0 and 6, add the hundredths place, that gives you 6, add the tenths, that gives you 11/10. You need to put 1 in the tenths place and carry a whole over. Make sure you put that decimal point there. 1 and 3 gives you 4. 2 and 1 gives you 3. For 34 and 16/100ths. Let's write that right in our Go Math books. Okay, let's take a look at some of these problems. On the bottom of page 136, we have 2 and 5/10 plus 4 and 6/10. First thing you want to do is estimate. Change that 2 to a 3. And you can change that 2 and 5/10 to a 3. 4 and 6/10 to a 5. 3 and 5 give you 8 for the estimated answer. And then from here you can just add your decimals here. 2 and 5/10 plus 4 and 6/10, 5 and 6 gives us 11. 5/10 plus 6/10 gives us 11/10. We put our 1 in the tenths place and we carry a whole over. Drop our decimal point down, very important. 1 plus 2 gives us 3, and 4 gives us a total of 7 for 7 and 1/10. And I want you to work through these problems with me. Now let's take a look at number 2. We have the estimate is we can turn that 8 and 75/100ths to a 9. 6 and 43/100ths to a 6. 9 and 6 will give us 15. Now that's our estimated answer. Now we're going to add. Start at the hundredths place. 5 and 3 gives us 8. 7/10 plus 4/10 gives us 11/10. Put my 1 here. Put your decimal point. Carry the 1 over. 1 plus 8 gives me 9. Plus 6 gives us 15. For a total of 15 and 18/100ths. Now let's take a look at one more together. Alright, now we have rounded the nearest whole number. This will be a 2, and this will be an 8. 2 plus 8 will give us 10. Now that we've estimated, it's time to work through the problem. 3/100ths plus 9/100ths gives us 12/100ths. So what we need to do, we need to put a 2 in the hundredths place, carry a tenth over. Now we have 1/10 plus 8/10 gives us 9/10. No need to regroup. Put our decimal point down. And then 2 and 7 gives us 9 for a total of 9 and 92/100ths. Okay, question at the bottom of your book. Explain why it is important to remember to line up the place values in each number when adding or subtracting decimals. If you do not line up the place values correctly, you could add or subtract the wrong place values in the numbers. Okay, so it's very, very important to always line up that decimal and the place values. Okay, I want you to work through this problem all by yourself. When you're finished, you can press play and I will have the answer for you. So pause the video now. Okay, the answer is 17 and 2/10. Now let's take a look at another problem. We have 19 and 2/10 plus 12 and 68/100ths. I want you to work through this problem all by yourself. When you're finished, you can press play and I will have the answer for you. So pause the video now. Okay, now we have 31 and 88/100ths. You can see I did add a 0 in the hundredths place just to make sure we didn't have any space above that 8 when we were adding everything together for 31 and 88/100ths. Now let's take a look at 4 and 3/10 plus 2 and 49/100ths. I want you to work through this problem at your seat all by yourself. When you're finished, press play and I'll have the answer for you. Pause the video now. Okay, so you can see we have 6 and 79/100ths for the answer. Okay, I want you to work through all these problems at your seat. When you're finished, you can press play and I will have the answers for you. So pause the video now. Okay, here are the answers for you. I want you to check over them and make sure that they match your answers as well. If they don't, you may need to rewind the video and watch it over again. Okay, taking a look at the test prep problem. I want you to work through this problem at your seat. When you're finished, you can press play and I will have the answer for you. So pause the video now. Okay, here's the answer, letter C. And moving to the essential question, how can place value help you add decimals? Aligning the place values of decimal add-ins helps me add hundredths to hundredths, tenths to tenths, ones to ones, and so on. So this concludes the video on adding decimals. If you have any questions about this concept, please come and see me.